And this is only a few decades after the Holocaust and the re-establishment of the Jewish state in Israel after thousands of years. And our prime minister at the time, boot campers, very good, she decides to go for a Hail Mary. And she flies over to the US, and who should the prime minister be meeting? The president, right? The heads of state versus heads of state. But Golda decides she's not going to go for a meeting with the president. She's actually going to go for a meeting with Henry Kissinger. Because among other things, Henry Kissinger is Jewish. And she's going to convince him that America should provide support for Israel and basically save us from complete annihilation. And she sits with the man who's known to be a pretty difficult man. And she says to him, Henry, don't forget who you are. Don't forget where you come from. You have to support Israel. And Henry's being very diplomatic and very respectful, and he says, Mrs. Prime Minister, I can't help you. This is not my call. There's a bigger game here. She says, Henry, I understand. Don't forget who you are. Don't let this happen on your watch. And he continues to explain, I'm not the president. It's not up to me. There's only so much that I can do. And she continues, and Henry loses his patience, and he bangs his hand on the table, and he says, Goldie, goddammit, I can't help you. You're not hearing me. So let me make it very, very clear. I am American. After that, I am the Secretary of State of the United States of America, not Israel. And third and last, yes, I'm also Jewish. And within a heartbeat, Golda Meir leans forward, she smiles, she puts her hand on his hand very gently and says, it's okay, Henry. In Hebrew, we read from right to left. And I expect you to act accordingly. And the rest, of course, is history, because that was the beginning of a very, very important strategic alliance between the United States and Israel. And that alliance is what got us through that war. And the reason I love that story, I love it on many different levels. I love it because it shows the power of communication. It shows you how important aspects, not just what you say, but how you say, can really affect massive change. Number two, it shows the importance of one-on-one communication, which a lot of people seem to be overlooking. In an age of social media and mass media, boot camp will prepare you for one-on-one meetings, and really all you have to do is change the world one person at a time. And there's nothing quite so powerful as sitting with somebody, looking them in the eyes in an age where everything is virtual, and having a conversation with them and knowing how to connect to who they are. And that's the third point I like about this. When I sat with Joe, and I've been working in Israel advocacy for almost 15 years. I started as a student before I became somebody who did it professionally. And I worked and I trained many different organizations. When I met Joe for the first time, it took me 5 seconds to fall in love with this man. He basically explained to me how boot camp works, and then I was invited to come see. And the idea of reaching out to people, not who are anti-Israeli and not revamping the ones who are pro-Israeli, but reaching out to the people who've completely lost connection with who they are, like Kissinger, and reminding them that they are part of something bigger. And if you ask me, doing so is not just something that's helping Israel, it's something that's helping them. Because when you reconnect with an important part of your identity, it's a huge thing. And you don't know it until it happens. And you learn in boot camp how to do that. And I got a chance to see that firsthand, and I got a chance to see who's doing it. So what I want you to understand is that by joining this group and by coming to this program, and it's not easy, it's 10 weeks, it's 2 to 3 hours a week, and if you're serious about it, you'll probably practice in between sessions. But at the end of those 10 weeks, you will have received something that will go with you for years and will give you an additional sense of meaning and will turn you into somebody who's part of an amazing and very important initiative and endeavor, because it never ends. And I'm not sure it ever will end. But really, we constantly have to tilt things in our favor, and you can do that. And so I hope that if you've been to boot camp, you stay active. If you haven't been to boot camp, I hope I'll meet you in one of the future boot camps. It's amazing that you're here. Thank you for listening to me, and that's it.